I was cut for my future husband so I don't have sex outside marriage. FGM is not a cultural traditional practice, but actually it's child abuse.
Hey beautiful people, how you are doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome back to my channel. How you are doing? Hope you guys are doing great. So today's video is a very interesting video, and this is a conversation that I feel like a lot of people are not talking about. So we're going to be talking about FGM, and you might not know what that is, but we're going to get into it. So FGM, it stands for female genital mutilation, and in the society where I was raised, it's called circumcision. And this is a process whereby a female genitalia is being cut off just for the essence of cutting down the libido of a woman. And it's a thing that has happened a lot in a lot of culture in Africa. And I just want to bring more awareness to this. I hope YouTube allow this video to fly and don't take this video down. YouTube, this video is for educational purpose, okay? So, yeah, so let's just get into the intro of what we're talking about, just to give you guys an insight to it, because this is something that, okay, anyway, let's just get the intro, and then we'll come back and talk more.
I was cut for my future husband so I don't have outside marriage.
My mom was like, Decca, I need you to go first. Daddy and I want you to get married one day. We want you to be good and clean for your husband.
FGM is not a cultural traditional practice, but actually it's child abuse.
I'm crying, wait, Mom, wait. No, I'm already a good girl.
And I ran off. Obviously I'm 7 years old. There's only so much running I can do.
These women I love pulled my skirt up.
So they grabbed me, pinned me on this table.
And they pulled my underwear down and spread my legs so far apart.
Women who held me down, these were aunties, family members, family, friends.
I don't remember much after that.
We have survived. Many of us should have that day, but we didn't.
And my parents make me promise all the time to not say anything to anyone because they can get in trouble.
This is about oppressing women. It's about oppressing women's bodies. It's about controlling women's bodies. And that's a global issue. And working with men is so important because we were cut for men. So men need to speak out. You have to speak out because you're the fathers.
I 100% wholeheartedly believe FGM will end. But the only way that's going to end is we need to end all forms of oppression against human beings.
I don't know why I've seen the video before, but every time I see it, keeps giving me chills on my body. So anyway, this video we're going to see and hear women share their story of their edgy stories and give more awareness to it. And I just want to put more awareness because I feel like a lot of people in the Western world still don't know. And this is something that's still going on in our society. And a lot of women this has happened to don't have the voice to speak up or talk about this. Very few of them, like the ones that are ready to speak about it. But what is more concerning is the fact that a lot of these parents that did these things don't see anything wrong with what they've done because they feel like they were keeping their daughter grounded. And this is just all in the orchestration of the patriarchal system we always talk about here. How women are being controlled up to the extent to control a woman's sexuality and even for the urge for the woman to even enjoy it. So it's really like... Anyway, guys, we're going to hear people's story. There was a girl that found out later on in life when she was an adult that she was... And then she decided to confront her dad and call her dad, which I guess she's a Nigerian. And you need to hear how the dad kind of dismissed her. And then another woman who came to share her story about how it's been done. And then just some little bits of documentary here and there just to share more light, because it was all the materials I could get that seems a little bit clean for YouTube and not very graphic. Hope YouTube allows it to fly. I hope so. But anyway, guys, let's go check it out. Then we'll come back and talk more.
Cut for my future husband so I don't have sex outside marriage, so I don't enjoy sex. Primarily my body is just there to carry babies. This is me as a survivor, as a therapist. FGM is not a cultural traditional practice, but actually it's child abuse. Ooh. That particular day was quite interesting, and it was only my neighbour's daughter that said to me, "Oh, you must be really looking forward to today." And I was like, okay. And I thought, well, it's not my birthday. What the hell hell's going on? And she said, oh, you're having your gudnin done. So gudnin is FGM in Somali. She must have been 8, 9 years old. So it's a child telling another child what's about to happen to them. She started to explain what it was. And I'm sitting here thinking, but mummy told me no one should touch my body. So it was a conflicting messages that was going on in my head. But as she's explaining this, I could hear a scream coming down from the other side of the house, like screaming. It was my sister. It was like an out-of-body experience. Before I could even do or think anything, it was like, get Layla. Get Layla's turn. And I mean, I ran off. Obviously, I'm 7 years old. There's only so much running I can do. So they grabbed me, pinned me on this table. Women who held me down, these were aunties, family members, you know, family, friends. Before I knew it, I was screaming and I could feel my flesh being cut off. But I just remember him saying, you're being naughty, you know, you just behave yourself, you know, it doesn't hurt. And I blacked out from that moment. So I had FGM done, was home for 2 weeks recovering. The weekend after, we were back at the beach. Life was normal again. That's just the way it was. Once you undergo something like this, there's no way back. There's no way back from this. My mother wasn't just cut once, she was cut twice because a neighbour thought not enough flesh was taken away. And for me, when we talk about FGM, there's so much focus on the type and what happened. What we need to focus on is this idea that we can just go and examine children. What I experienced was actually one of the worst forms of abuse. The doctor that cut me would never be seen as a paedophile because he's checking my under the label of a doctor. People giving me any reasons, they would say, it's their religion, it's their culture. I mean, none of the holy books mention it. It's practiced amongst all religions, but none of the books mention it. However, fundamentally, FGM, it's there to control women and girls' bodies, especially their.
I have a question for you. Do you know what female is?
Yes.
Did that happen to me?
It's always like that in Africa.
You didn't tell them not to do that to me.
I told you, it is a normal routine. Whatever they're doing there is what they're going to do to you. Whatever they do to everybody over there, that's what they're going to do to you. So it's not a fault or whatever.
They asked me, didn't your parents tell you?
I believe you already knew this when you were even younger than this. Maybe
I was just supposed to magically know.
Once things like that you grow up to see with you. If you are now asking me, did you ever ask me?
I made this video 3 weeks before I learned that I was a victim of female.
Questioning whether or not you're asexual.
A lot of people have been asking me, how is it possible that I wouldn't know? What I thought was actually just a huge mass of scar tissue, which goes to explain why I wasn't having any type of feeling. Yesterday, I learned that I am a victim of female. I had to go to a gynecologist and then a surgeon who looked at what's remaining of my and told me what happened to me as a baby. The surgeon asked me if my parents had ever told me, and they hadn't. When I asked my dad about it, he said that this is just what happens to people who are born where I was born, that it was completely normal and that there was no reason for him to have told me. He then accused me of making a big deal out of it because he had asked me for money the day before and I didn't want to give it to him. I can have surgery to fix it, but it costs $7,200. It's considered cosmetic surgery, even though it would improve my functioning. And that means that I have to pay out of pocket. Insurance doesn't cover it. I put myself through college. I now pay 100% of the costs for my little sister's college bill. And now as a 24-year-old that graduated college last year, I am now taking on a huge medical expense.
I am a survivor of female, also known as female, and this is my story. I was born and raised for a short while in Somalia. One of the biggest things that I had to face whilst going through the female procedure. During the procedure, for example, for me and a sibling had to watch our cousin get the procedure done. So imagine a 6-year-old, I think she might have been 4.5 years old. I was 6. They held her down, little body down, opened up her legs, held those down. So you had 3 to 4 adults physically holding you down. There's no painkillers given. There is no anesthetics. And as a child, you don't understand why that's happening. And when she started screaming, they put a cloth in her mouth to kind of muffle the screams. And the type of equipment that they use, or they used with us anyway, is a small razor blade. The moment the cutter started cutting, it was I have never seen skin being cut. And I was a child. I shouldn't have had to see that. I was thinking that's just about to happen to me. They took me to the chair by force. I did not in any way, shape or form consent to that. I was actually screaming no. And they put me on the chair. They did the exact same thing. Everything was held down, with all their strength and might. And I was only a 6-year-old child. And then she took out the razor and she started cutting. I started screaming. They also put the cloth in my mouth to muffle my scream. And I tried to move around as much as I could, but they're trying to hold you down. And at one point, I think my whole entire body went into shock. I just didn't move. I didn't fight anymore. And because you're not using anesthetics, you actually feel like cutting that blade to your skin. And then you have months, at least 12 months to heal fully. So you still have infections. It wasn't clean. It wasn't done in a clean place. And many girls have died either after the procedure, complications during the procedure. There are quite a lot of complications that come from having mutilation of female, frequent cysts, frequent infections, especially for type 3, the tearing, which I experienced myself, but also complications during labor, pain during sex. The list goes on. Something that all survivors, I believe, have in common is our insecurities and our self-image problems.
Trying to urinate after FGM is a really traumatizing experience within itself, because 1, is not as easy anymore, and 2, it hurts, it stings, it's painful, and you just have to live through it. You'll be fine eventually. It's okay, this pain will go away. There's no, let me take you to a doctor, let me see if there's anything wrong, let me see if you've got an infection. No, you just had to live through it, or there's no other option, really. So many young women have bled to death because of this procedure. And I am so lucky that I didn't bleed to death at the front of my grandma's house. I am truly, truly grateful that I wasn't part of, the hundreds and thousands, if not millions, that have lost their lives to this procedure.
And were any other women in your family subject to that?
Everyone. Older than me, anyway. Even younger. Everyone.
Sorry guys, I'm just going to do a voiceover because my microphone was not working and I didn't realize that I was just talking. So this is just going to be a voiceover. So let me know your thought about this video down in the comment section. People's thoughts on this, people sharing their story, women sharing their story, what you think about the entire FGM. And let us know down in the comment section if you've ever heard of it and what are your thoughts on this. Go down and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think. So I'm going to show you guys another clip of one of the women that does this art to younger girls. So we're going to hear her talk about how this process has been done to younger girls. And yeah, let's go check it out, then we'll come back and talk.
Fatima is a cutter. She has a handful of instruments, but her main tool is a razor blade. Oh, that's what she uses to slice off female. Most of the girls here, Fatima's already cut. That's how she's made her living. It's a job which until now has been seen as an honourable one. Fatima demonstrates for us how she carries out the procedure. They're typically held down by relatives and conditioned to believe it's a privilege, a rite of passage. She shows us how they sometimes cover their faces to stifle the screams. She explains why the girls are cut so young, usually between the ages of 6 and 10, and her explanation is telling.
Yeah, because they don't know what's wrong and what's right. She's saying. But when they reach like almost 12 years or maybe 13, they are very matured and they can reduce this contraception.
Please go down in the comment section and share your thought. Love to know what you think about this conversation down in the comment section. Love to know what you think about this, okay? So, for me personally, I have a lot to say, a lot of story, and to know that this is something that happened in my society, in my community, even growing up as a child, was something I saw happen to people around me. And I know some people were asking Destiny, were you ever? No, thank God to my parents that knew on time in life that this was a no, they were not going to do this to their kids, their daughters. So apparently, the first time I ever came across or heard about anything like this was when I was a child. And in my own community, when such things are being done, it's being celebrated when they do it. So I remember on that day, myself and my mom were going to the market, and I saw people celebrating, and I was like, "What are they celebrating for? Like really, like celebrating and all that." And my mom was like, "Oh, they just circumcised a lady. This is a full-grown woman." And yes, in my community where I was raised, is if your parents don't do it for you when you're a child, when you get married to some families, they request for them to take it out, to cut it. Yeah, so yeah. So and my mom was like, "Oh, they just circumcised." I was like, "What was that?" And my mom tried as much to explain it the best she can, and I immediately asked her like, "Did they do that to me? Why are they doing it to her?" And she was like, "Oh, so that for promiscuous and all that." And I was like, "Ah." And right there and there, it didn't sit well with me. I was like, why? Why would they do that to a woman? The pain, I can't even imagine the pain as a child. Imagine. Then to think that they're actually doing this to children is just, it's just crazy. Generally, these things are being done just to control women because, like in my culture, like what I was told, and they said it's being done so that women are not being promiscuous, so that basically, like the other lady said, women will just be baby making machine, nothing else, nothing more. You don't have to enjoy it when you're doing it with your partner and all that. And the crazy thing is that a whole lot of children, a whole lot of women, a whole lot of girls have been unalive during this process of this. Because I remember I asked my mom when we're having the conversation that, "Oh, so why didn't you do it?" Mom was like, "That's dangerous because people have died in the process and all that." And I was like, "Oh my goodness, that's so scary. So why is it a thing?" And I'll say like those are some of the things that make me at first as a young girl start questioning things in my society, things in my community. That why when they say, "Oh, this is just traditional," like that's stupid. Why are they doing it? What's the reason? They'll tell you that is how they do it. And for me, it just does not sit well when people come and tell me that is how things are being done without a tangible reason. But this just clearly shows how this has really gone round in a whole lot of communities and tribes in Africa, especially, that is doing this. And all this is to be done to control women and women's body. And the fact that most culture do this to children without their concept, and they see it like it's normal. And when you try to talk about it, to they don't they try to really defend themselves. And it's really crazy how me as a young woman growing up, I saw a lot of girls be this being done to. And it's just for me, my brain could not even fathom me, why would that ever be a thing even in a culture just to control women. And this is when I talk about issues of women, some people ask me like, "Oh, you're just saying." No, that it's such a deep-rooted issue that has cuts across race, religion, culture, countries, of how women are naturally be tried to suppress, try to take our rights. Like they literally don't want us to have a voice. They don't want us to even think for ourselves. They don't want us to even breathe for ourselves because they always just want us down. And it's not as if, yeah, on this channel we hate men and all that, but we just really need to touch on a lot of injustice that has been done to women, especially black women and even African women. We need to speak about it, talk about it, acknowledge that there's an issue, there's a problem, and these are some of the things that has been done to women for the sake of men. So women are going through this raw pain, trauma, life and death situation just to so that a man can contain her, so that a man can control her, and it does not sit well with me. Anyway, I'll do voiceover. My mic went off again. So, oh shit. My mic went off. I'll probably do voiceover on it. So anyway, guys, please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this conversation down in the comment section, but please keep it respectful. Here on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a respectful way. So go ahead and share your thoughts. Let me know what you think about this conversation. All right. So with that all said, guys, share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, or somebody you want to inform of this. And give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push out my content for more people to see, so it will help boost the video, and that will be you supporting your girl. With that all said, guys, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I would have said, okay, donate to anyone, but I don't really know any foundation that is supporting women or children that are going through this. So I know some people will ask for that, but I really don't know. So yeah. Anyway, guys, with that all said, I will see you guys in my next video. Deuces.